The road to finding a cure begins in Dr. Stone. Let's go. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Flame. Welcome everyone back to a brand new Dr. Stone review. Today, guys, I'm recovering episode 8, The Stone Road. So within this episode, if you guessed, if you're an anime only, and of course you know as a manga reader, this is the point where everyone is trying to save Ryu from this sickness because of, as it was stated in the last episode, this is the Stone World. It's not like our reality right now where if you get sick or if you get hurt, you can go and see a doctor, go get medication from a store. This is basically building the ground up all over again, and it's definitely going to be a tough journey for our characters. It all relies on Senku, but will they be able to get the materials in time to actually save her? And this is a point as well, right? Because it was even stated in this episode as well, is that there were some people in the past of this village that got kicked out, and that's the point of the security when we look at Kinro and Ginro guarding this place, is because maybe those people in the past will have vengeance and try to attack the village. So it's good to have security, and why they made a rule to not let outsiders in, aka Senku right here. But now he has a full objective that if he actually uses this medicine and actually finds it or makes it, he'll be able to save Ryu and actually get into this village, which that's even a clever part for him because now he'll have all 40 of those people on his side to actually win this war against Tsukasa, and that's of course the #1 role he has to go through to actually save humanity here yet again, which he has. The serum's been made, but it just getting rid of Tsukasa is the hard part, and of course he needs manpower. But within of course this episode as well, we have Chrome, Senku, and Kohaku working together to find this medicine. It's easy for Kohaku because it's her older sister, right? It's anything for family, even if you're risking your life. That's a couple episodes back, even like she stated that she will do anything, and why she's going up to the hot springs every single time to fill up of course this jar full of hot water to make sure her sister is safe here again. But what I love so much about this episode, and of course the Stone Road right here, is like I said before, it's not like our generation right now where if you get so sick you can go to a hospital or get medication from a store and you'll be fine and dandy. But within the Stone World right here, it's really hard to kind of get that materials and medicine because there's nothing out there. You had to basically build the ground up here yet again to make those materials to actually get the right medicine. What was stated of course in this episode as well, which of course is to make penicillin. This is of course the best drug, the best medicine to actually help and cure Ryu. But that's the tough part as well, is since this is a Stone World, it's hard to tell what her condition is, right? You can't take her blood work, you can't find of course the statement of what she's in, like if she is so sick that she's beyond medicine, you can't save her, or what kind of medicine does she actually need. And the right move to go towards is to find the antidote and to find the penicillin, and that's what they're going on with this. But it's not like the right thing where if you have these materials right off the bat, you create them together and actually make medicine. You don't have that. So if you have one material but it's made out of this or that, that's what they're going through within the Stone Road right here, is building one material. Okay, so if there's 5 materials to create this one medicine, we have to use the other materials. So if one material, for example, it needs 6 others or 5 others, in that first material, building it up, afterwards make the second one, keep going until we have the first material done and over with, and we could start on the second objective. And their first one they're going for is iron. So they find sand around of course the riverbank and etc like that to collect as much iron sand as possible. But we actually get introduced to another character right here, which is Suka. Suka is a little girl in this village that wants help, and we get a little bit about her past as well. She wears this watermelon head all around the village, and a lot of people are always looking at her of why you wearing that, like what's the point. And she even has a background as well that every time she tries to help someone she always fails. But with Senku, this is why we love this character, right? He doesn't care what people think, their personalities, etc like that. That's even just him back in our generation or back at home, that no one cares what he does. He loves being a scientist, and that's he'll accomplish his dream no matter what it takes. And with Suka, that's with him as well, that no matter what, if you just help out right here and pull your weight, you're good on my level. I don't care if you wear a watermelon head, like you'll be great to the group. And plus he needs more manpower as well. Like that's the best part, is that he's trying to get all these people here together, and he's already got one free person, didn't even have to do anything. She just wants to help, and he's like, all right, you can come help out. So a new character, which I'm glad to see more of her character going forward. straightforward, definitely a funny one, and definitely enjoyable as well. That's what I love about Dr. Stone a lot, is that each character we've seen so far has a good past and a good build-up, and I feel like you could really relate to a lot of these characters moving forward, of course, with Dr. Stone. And a huge depth within this episode as well is we see a lot of clues towards Ryu's character of who actually is she. Is she part of the generation that Senku and that is from? Because it doesn't really make sense that she's from the Stone World. She probably heard these stories from someone else. It's like, basically, I think it was like a character in Senku's generation that, of course, he was learning about gorillas, alligators, etc. like that, and especially Kohoku and Chrome knew all about it. So Ryu is really hiding something that she knows about the generation of what Senku is from. So it's going to be really cool of when they actually find this antidote to save her, that we're going to get a lot of backstory and maybe what she actually heard this from, or maybe she's from the generation, who knows. But that's definitely a clue that I like, and it's really mysterious of, hey, they're just trying to create this potion, this antidote, this save thing to help Riri out, but at the same time we're gonna get a lot of answers right after she's feeling better. So I think that's a really cool statement of what Dr. Stone put towards, is that we're getting something even out of this at this point when they're trying to make and save a character, but at the same time we're gonna get provided with a lot of info about it. But we see their process, and Iron is definitely a tough road, definitely a tough objective to actually get within this, because even though they've collected so much iron sand and they could be at the point to create iron, they need a certain temperature to go with. And that's definitely difficult, because basically in our generation, of course, to get iron, you had to get a lot of heat, especially lava temperature level. I think it was like, what, 1,500 degrees, somewhere around there. So yeah, that's the trouble with them. They need more manpower, because looking at Senku, he's not the strongest guy. He's the brains of the operation. Chrome, same exact thing. Maybe a little stronger than Senku, but not at it. I guess the only tough person or tough gal out there was Kohaku, but she can't do it by herself. And looking at Tsuka, she's just a kid. She can't do anything. So they failed their first try making iron sand, but he needs more manpower. He needs a Tsukasa. He needs a Taiju. Go and actually make this iron. And what's pretty cool as well is Senku makes air pumps, because of course to blow the arrow will create more flame, and eventually you'll get to that 100-degree weather. But to use that, of course, more manpower. So he creates another idea, which is a really genius one. He's going behind enemy lines when you look at it, because everyone will want something within this stone world. Someone will want an objective, and I think the perfect point of that, which I think it was Ginro, I think it was Kinro. Kinro was the right person. His objective, he wants a golden spear. You know, we almost saw him break last episode. So if Senku gets a little bit of intel of what someone wants, of, hey, maybe I want a hairbrush, or I want more food, because all they're eating in this village is just fish. And Tsuka goes behind enemy lines or towards her village of what people need. This is a great objective for Senku right here, that he will get more manpower and eventually create that iron to actually set them straight. And another example would be great for Senku as well, is that if he's actually trying to create medication to help their leader out, people will want to help him. Like, that's the point, even though that he's a stranger and everything like that, but he has Chrome, Tsuka, and Kohoku on his side, so they know that he was actually legit. And if he's actually creating a serum to actually save their leader, then they will want to help them out so that their village won't be in the shambles. So afterwards, when a guy wanted something different than fish, or a girl wanted a man to cook for her, etc. like that, he gets a pinpoint on their head saying, hey, if I make another food right here, this will be perfect to actually get more people so we can create this iron. And this will be the first material moving forward to actually create this penicillin. So we see in this episode, they go to a step forward and make ramen. Of course, it's a Japanese, it's a manga, you know, it's a shonen. Pretty cool though, not gonna lie, ramen is delicious. But they make it out of foxtail millet. It's not like our noodles that we see right here, which of course Senku thinks is disgusting, but this is a god. This is a new treat for these stone people that, you know, Senku basically provided them with a new generation of food right here, because of course ramen is towards our days right now. But I even love the steps that they go towards of actually making flour from this foxtail. Slowly but surely, make it with water, stir it all up. Eventually you throw in, of course, your chicken, throw in the fish, whatever you want in there, mix it all together, and you have a delicious food right here. See, this is another source that Senku is even providing for these village people, because he has over 3,000 plus years in his head, learns from the past, knows what to do, knows what to cook, because food is basically science. The stuff that you need, sodium acid, the material like flour, etc. like that, that eventually he even knows how to cook as well. So if he uses those techniques to actually provide more for the village right here. That's the bait. That he's literally using bait to draw people more and more and more, and eventually he will have his science ward that of course he's versing against Tsukasa with. So I think it was a really enjoyable episode, and we slowly see people going towards his desires that eventually he will get the Iron Maid and etc. I think this might even go towards the 25-24 episode period that Dr. Stone is going towards, because that was just for one episode getting one material. They still have a lot to do to actually make their objective a success, and I think it's going to be a great Stone road moving forward with Dr. Stone. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, that was my review here for Dr. Stone episode 8. If you guys all enjoyed, make sure of course to leave a like, comment down below what are you guys' thoughts and opinions on this episode here, and of course subscribe to the channel. That'd be greatly appreciated. But thank you guys all for the love and support on Dr. Stone so far, and of course we'll see you guys next week with a brand new episode. Much love, and as always, have yourselves a wonderful day.